You've seen them before, in ancient temple, in secret societies, even hidden in plain sight, on money, flags, and pop culture. But where did these symbols really come from? And why have they survived for thousands of years? Because they weren't just decorations, they were codes carved into myth, designed to speak to something deep inside us, something we've almost forgotten how to hear. In this video, we'll uncover 5 ancient occult symbols you've probably seen, but never truly understood. Each one carries the weight of an entire mythology, and a hidden truth about how ancient civilizations saw the cosmos and the soul. If you love decoding ancient mysteries and seeing the world through mythic eyes, hit subscribe. This is Beyond Mythology. A snake swallowing its own tail. Simple, not even close. This is the Ouroboros, one of the oldest occult symbols known to humankind. It appeared in ancient Egypt, coiled around the sun god Ra as he sailed through the underworld. Later, it slithered into Greek philosophy, alchemy, and even Norse mythology as Jörmungandr, the serpent encircling the world. But what does it mean? On the surface, eternity, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. But beneath that lies something deeper. In esoteric traditions, the Ouroboros is a symbol of cosmic unity, the infinite dance between destruction and creation, a universe that constantly devours and renews itself, never ending, never still. To the alchemists, it was sacred, a map of transformation, the self consuming itself to be reborn as something greater, a symbol of the soul in process, not perfection. Carl Jung saw it as the ultimate archetype of individuation, the moment when the ego realizes it is both the question and the answer. The Ouroboros doesn't just represent eternity, it's a mirror. It dares you to look at yourself and ask, am I stuck in a cycle, or am I evolving through it? 2 triangles, one pointing up, one pointing down. They meet and form a star, but this is no ordinary star. This is the hexagram, known by many names across time, the seal of Solomon, the star of the macrocosm, the union of heaven and earth. Today it's mostly recognized as a symbol of Judaism, but long before that it was a mystical key passed through secret traditions, from alchemists to Kabbalists, from temple magicians to esoteric philosophers. In ancient alchemy, each triangle carried a cosmic element: fire pointing upward, the masculine, the active, the spiritual; water pointing downward, the feminine, the receptive, the material. When these 2 forces meet, they don't cancel each other out. They create balance, a harmony that mirrors the very architecture of the universe. This is not duality in conflict, it's duality in fusion. In Kabbalistic traditions, the hexagram became a map of the divine, a symbol of Tiferet, the central sphere on the tree of life, where beauty, truth, and balance reside. It's the point where God's energy meets human consciousness. But there's something even more ancient hiding behind it. Legends say that King Solomon, a figure suspended between history and myth, used this seal to command spirits and demons, not to destroy them, but to understand and integrate their power. Because the hexagram doesn't banish shadow, it embraces it. In modern psychology, Carl Jung might have called this the sacred marriage, the alchemical union of the inner masculine and feminine, of the conscious and the unconscious. The hexagram teaches that enlightenment doesn't come from escaping the world. It comes from integrating it, from reconciling the opposites within you, and becoming whole, not pure, not perfect, but complete. It looks like a cross with a loop on top, elegant, simple, mysterious, but to the ancient Egyptians it was far more than a symbol. It was the key to existence. This is the Ankh, the breath of life, the key of the Nile, the sacred loop of eternity. You'll see it everywhere in Egyptian art, held in the hands of gods, offered to the noses of pharaohs, floating beside the sun disk of Ra. But why? Because in the mythology of Egypt, life wasn't just about survival. It was about alignment with cosmic forces, divine order, and the afterlife. The Ankh was their reminder that true life began after death. In the Osirian myth, when Osiris is torn apart by Set and resurrected by Isis, The Ankh becomes a symbol of restoration, of divine resurrection. It wasn't a promise of heaven, it was a process of transformation. The gods used the Ankh to breathe energy into the soul, to awaken the Ka, the life force, and guide it beyond the veil. In the temples, initiates carried Ankhs during sacred rites, not as ornaments, but as tools of passage. To carry the Ankh was to carry the question, am I truly alive, or am I just surviving? In esoteric traditions, the Ankh became the symbol of life that transcends time, a convergence of male and female, spirit and matter, birth and rebirth. The loop represents the womb of creation, the crossbar, the horizon, and the vertical line in the path of ascent, from earth to divine. It's a map, a diagram of how the human becomes eternal. Because to the ancients, death was never the end. It was initiation, and the Ankh, it was the key. One eye, surrounded by light, floating above a pyramid or etched into stone, you've seen it. On currency, architecture, secret society documents, and conspiracy theory videos. But long before it was known as the Eye of Providence, this symbol had another name, the Eye of Horus. In Egyptian mythology, Horus, the falcon-headed god, loses his eye in a divine battle against Set, the god of chaos. But the eye is restored, not just physically, but spiritually. It becomes a symbol of healing, clarity, and cosmic order. The left eye of Horus represented the moon, intuition, mystery, the unconscious. It wasn't about seeing the world. It was about seeing within. Centuries later, this sacred eye was reinterpreted by esoteric orders. To the Freemasons, it became the Eye of Providence, the divine intelligence that observes all things, but not as a tyrant, as a witness, a reminder that nothing is ever truly hidden, not even from yourself. In myth and mysticism alike, the eye is not just a watcher, it's a mirror. It reflects your intentions, your fears, your truths, and it demands self-awareness. To see with this eye is to awaken. It's the third eye, the pineal flame, the opening between illusion and insight. In psychological terms, it's the moment of individuation, when you step out of the story you've been told and start seeing the patterns behind the story. The eye is everywhere in myth. Odin sacrificed one eye for wisdom. Shiva opens his third eye to destroy ignorance. Even in Christianity, the eye of God watches, not to punish but to reveal. This symbol survives because it speaks to the most ancient question: what if someone or something sees everything? And what if that someone is you? A sun, but dark. It doesn't shine. It pulls. This is the black sun, a symbol whispered in secret circles, carved into occult diagrams, and feared for what it might represent. But what is it? Some trace it back to esoteric alchemy, where it represented the nigredo, the first stage of transformation, decomposition, ego death, dissolution of the false self. Others link it to ancient solar cults, where the sun would disappear each night only to be reborn, a symbol not of light, but of what gives birth to light. Even in Norse mythology at Ragnarok, the end of all things, the sun is swallowed and the world falls into darkness before the rebirth of a new age. The black sun is that moment, the threshold between death and transfiguration. But this symbol has also been twisted. In the 20th century, it was co-opted by dark ideologies, manipulated to project dominance, power, and control, but that is not the origin. The true black sun doesn't dominate others, it challenges you. It's the void within yourself, the part you refuse to look at, the wound you never acknowledged, the truth you buried to survive. In Jungian psychology, it mirrors the shadow, the part of the psyche where all repressed thoughts, desires, and traumas live. But here's the paradox. The black sun isn't your enemy. It is the source of real transformation. Because nothing evolves in comfort, and nothing is reborn in the light without first passing through darkness. In myth, heroes always descend before they rise. In life, we break before we awaken. And in the soul, Sometimes the most powerful light comes from the place where we thought nothing could grow. That's the black sun, a symbol of endings, beginnings, and the power that only reveals itself when you dare to face the dark. Symbols speak, not in words but in echoes. Each one we explored today was more than just a shape. It was a message, etched into myth, charged with meaning, and passed down across centuries as if the ancients were trying to tell us something we forgot. The Ouroboros teaches that endings are beginnings. The hexagram reminds us that opposites don't destroy, they complete. The Ankh offers life not as a fact, but as a quest. The eye shows that real vision comes from within. And the black sun, it dares us to find power in the dark. These aren't just occult symbols, they're mirrors. And if you've watched this far, it means one thing. You're not just curious, you're awake. This is what we do here. We explore the hidden layers of myth, mind, and meaning, and we're just getting started. And now tell me, what do you know about these symbols that most people don't? And more importantly, which other symbols do you think deserve to be revealed? If this opened something in you, subscribe.